All right, so hello and welcome to the first podcast of its kind that I like to call Jexo with Friends, where we talk to and meet our partners from across the Atlassian ecosystem and really get an insight into a glimpse into their world as a casual chat. Today I'm joined by Bernardo from eCore. Hey Bernardo, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Biro.
You and I met each other a while back, so we know each other for a bit. But for those that might not seen your face previously or don't know who you are, do you want to talk a bit about yourself, your role, and what you do at eCore?
Yeah, so Bernardo here. I'm currently based in a city called Porto Alegre. It's the capital of the southeast state in Brazil. And for those that being here in Brazil, it's a 2-hour flight from Rio and a 1.5-hour flight from Sao Paulo. I'm working at eCore for 11 years now, and most of the time I was involved with the Atlassian businesses. My background is primarily sales, then I adapted to the business development. And today I would say that is more leaning to business expansion and scale. And about the position, my current role is head of the field operations in EMEA and APAC. So we are divided by territories at eCore, and we're currently heading this set of territories.
Right. Okay. That's interesting. And is it? You said you started in sales with eCore.
Yes, correct.
And when was this? For how long have you been putting up with eCore?
Well, I joined the company in 2010, and well, back in the day that I was hired, eCore was a company of around 55, 60 employees. Now we are around 450 and growing. And by the way, if you're looking for an exciting opportunity, check on our website, go to the career sections, or looking for talent.
So you're still hiring.
Yeah, we are still hiring. It's a continuous job that we're doing. We are a service-based company, so people play the major role in a service-based company, and we need good people. Yeah. So back, my main mission was to develop a thing called Atlassian Business here back in 2010. And my journey with Atlassian, we think the Atlassian ecosystem started that way. The market here was just very tiny, too conservative at the time, but also with a great potential. So that sparked me a very interesting amount of motivation to make things happen here. And I spent 7 years developing the Atlassian market here in Brazil, work with sales, building sales team, managing the sales team, building a customer base. And then 3 years ago, I transitioned to a different set of responsibilities. It's a bit broader on the sales eCore is offering, but also very joyful and very interesting as well.
Yeah, so you're moving resource. You go into certain teams, help them grow to a certain size, set up certain standards, and then move on to the next challenge in the company.
Yeah, correct. This is pretty much what I've been doing. I think the mission that I'm doing today is my 5th mission. So it's kind of been working in a different company every 2 or 3 years. Cool. Yeah, it's awesome because you don't get too used to your position, to your role. Things are not static. The dynamics are always changing. So very exciting, very challenging, very good to be here.
Yeah, I used to do the same thing for the previous company where I was working at Mudano before moving full time for Jexo. Kind of helped them grow. I was actually their first employee, and then back in 2015, and they grew to 100, probably close to 100, I don't know. But I was moving, I started as a software engineer and then started helping with leading some of the tech there, and then moved to a different role and just kind of hopped from side to side. And I guess that's that some of us have this kind of mission in growing companies, and especially when it comes to growing pains, when you have one person that needs to handle 10 things and you need to go and do those 10 things and then hire people to help you with those things. So also, the one thing that we share in common, like myself, you like Formula One. So I have a very, very important question for you. Oh, by the way, did you see that it was announced? The big announcement that we were waiting for was finally announced.
The George Russell joining Mercedes.
Yes.
And I just got to know that Albon is returning to Williams, to F1, to Williams. It's Williams, I think. Yeah,
Williams. Yeah, but Toto Wolff seems to not be happy about that. Basically, competitor driver, academy driver, driving for customers of theirs. So we'll see how that unfolds. But who's your bet for this season? Is it Hamilton or Max Verstappen? Yeah, Max Verstappen.
Yeah, this is a very good and tricky question. I if you asked me a week ago, I would say that I didn't have an answer at the time, but I was thinking about this and a couple days ago, and then after the Dutch Grand Prix, and since Max has managed to recover from a nasty accident in Silverstone, I think, and also he managed to win at home with all the pressure, all the emotions, all the distractions. I would say that my bet for this year is that Max will be winning the championship. So Verstappen is my bet. Although I also think that will be at the very end of the year that you'll be knowing who's the champion. But funny season.
But that's the type of seasons that you want, isn't it? And I'm with you. I really want Verstappen to win the championship, and I know I'm going to upset a lot of British fans here, but hey, I don't know. Hamilton had his share. Let Verstappen win as well. So eCore is the biggest solution partner in Brazil, correct? Tell me about how you got here. What is eCore's magic for the success that you're seeing with in the company, in the growth? Because like growing from 50 employees to now 400 and constantly rapidly growing, you do have a secret sauce.
Yeah, funny question. I've been asking this for a while now, and yes, we currently hold the leader status as solution partner in Brazil. By the way, we are also a solution partner in the US. We have an office in White Plains, New York. It's now closed due to the COVID situation, but we do have an operations in the US. I think we're in this position because as a company, we decided to invest and scale operations before the business appears. So by the time that the business opportunities appear, we were ready. So we took a risk in the past.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like the best way to sell more bicycles is not working on the price, but building biking lanes instead. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much the strategy that we did. And about the eCore's magic, there's no magic or secret sauce. We are a customer obsessed company with a very high bar that looks for long-term results. Yeah, so I think customer obsessed, high bar, long-term commitments, long-term engagements with employees, the community, the customers, vendors, suppliers. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the foundations, blocks, I would say, that place us in this position.
It's interesting what you said about basically building the foundation and before you start growing. It's a very interesting approach, especially in a world, and to be honest, we're in that bucket, a world where everything is go fast, build fast, and break things type of attitude, right? We're kind of the same, so we're less about structure and things like that, and more about just doing things as quick as possible. which, sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, but, we learn from it. So it's interesting to see the opposite. Is there anything out of top of your head, any advice or learnings that you took away from having this approach?
Yeah, this is an interesting question. There's some of the thoughts that are my personally. They just go bold and deliver. Take a few risks. Don't be stupid, but take a few risks sometimes. It's not crossing the road with a closed eyes. But take risks sometimes. Be very diligent with the people that you are onboarding your team. This is super important, because when we were a small company and we have a small Atlassian business operation, the power of transformation and change that one single individual have is greater than today. So when you are starting to ramp the growing curve, set the bar very high for people that you're put inside the company, because they have a lot of power to create value or to burn value. So this is super important.
I think to delay outcomes or the results or drag you away from what you need to achieve. And actually, I talk about, and I completely agree, and that's one of the reasons why we are trying to stay as much possible small. And I told you this previously, because I know that as soon as we reach a point, then you need to hire more people to manage people, and you need to expand to take care of this infrastructure or that thing and so on. So we're trying to stay as small and effective as possible. To be honest, I would love to stay a startup for the rest of our existence. I don't know, I just feel I've been through that as well. Not at the level that you've been through from 50 to 400, but I've been from 1 to 200, close to 200. And I know how early days were so efficient and so fast, and just everyone had such a big impact. And then when things grow, you need to, and I think I understand why you had this approach, this strategy where, okay, we need to put systems in place before we grow, because if we don't, then we're at risk of imploding, because people are not where they're supposed to be. They might not fit into the culture. They might not have the same drive or the same ethic or even the same understanding of what's required from them if we don't put this in place so that we can skyrocket. And I think the fact that you've been growing so big, you have so many big customer names, even here in the ecosystem, and you're continuing to grow, kind of tells me that your early platforms and structure to enable you to grow actually have been working pretty well.
Yeah, it's been working for us. And also when it comes to the Atlassian business, the service business, also the licensing, reselling business, we back in the days, 7-8 years ago, Atlassian wasn't popular here in Brazil. So the name Atlassian doesn't ring any type of bell, just for a few open minds in the IT industry, but was not that popular. And when we had the opportunity to join a project in a new customer, large customer, an influencer customer, let's put that way, in a banking system, the financial industry, or the retail industry, or the big engineering industry, we didn't have the chance to fail or to not delivering anything less than great service, because the market was so small at the time. We just couldn't afford to not deliver. So in order to do that, we need to prepare ourselves early and invest in the preparation, invest in the systems, invest in the process, invest a lot in the people. We spent a lot of resources spending in people, and it's worth it, every penny, every cent that you invest in people. So I think this is part of the secret sauce. We set priorities, a few priorities, and went really deep in the priorities.
To be honest, you said you don't have a magic recipe, secret sauce at the beginning, but you knew you had a vision, and you knew what you were doing very early on. Because if you didn't, things probably would have panned out a bit different. No, that's brilliant. And obviously, you help Atlassian customers and partners like ourselves. What are some of the flagship services that eCore is offering today?
Yeah, so we are a technology partner for Atlassian Service, software engineering, and application support service. It's the three main areas that we are working and putting efforts. Atlassian Service, software engineering, and application support service. In the Atlassian Service, we are working and focus mainly on 5 consultancy type of service that we believe that to be transforming the way that the business happen, the way that work is delivered. So it's Jira scale, cloud adoption migration, enterprise service management, PPM project portfolio management, and cross automations. So we believe that 5 areas encapsulates a lot of the work and a lot of what our potential customers are trying to accomplish. And they're also very, very, very strategic, very aligned with Atlassian. And also the platform where these services are built is the cloud, right? So the cloud is the logical destination for every Atlassian customers, and we are joining this effort to move safely our customers to the cloud.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you still offer the traditional, I call them traditional because I'm a cloud hipster person, the traditional hosting, licensing for server, any of that? Do you still do that even after, the whole announcement and closure?
Yes, we do this. This is a very important part of our business. We are seeing movements here in Brazil for companies that are transitioning from server data center to cloud. It's a bit fast in mid-size companies and small companies, but for large and enterprise-size customers, they're just starting. It's a bit more complex, the movement. There are a lot of topics that we need to put effort in terms of data protection. So enterprise companies usually have a different and more conservative approach of this matter. So it takes a bit time to get there. But in general, the feedback that we're receiving even from the customers, the enterprise customers, they're super good. Atlassian is doing a great job building the infrastructure, and the customers are getting this signal. They are providing us good feedback about the cloud structure, the functionalities that years ago was enabled. Now they are all there. Most of them are all there. So it is still today an important part of our business, but it's transitioning and going to cloud as well.
Right, that makes sense. So just to slightly recap, you're offering a suite of services around support, application support to Atlassian and the ecosystem, and on this other side, you're and basically one of the, it's as big of a part of your business. You offer agile scale, PPM, and consultancy services to companies, cloud or server wise, and you're also helping migrate companies to cloud. And this is it Brazil and US? Do you have any other territories where you're currently based in?
This is global. We are unfolding this strategy globally. So not just Brazil. Brazil today is still our major place of customers. They are primarily based here in Brazil. But our customers in US, in Europe, they're also part of this strategy as well. They are also receiving this approach with a very open head. So I would say that this strategy is not local. It's a corporate strategy. It's global. And now, since that we are working remotely it's easier to get global. It's funny because you're not able to travel to as in the past days, but you get more global since the work can be performed and delivered by anywhere. So it's a kind of paradox that is happening right now. So for us, it's global now.
Yeah. So basically, if we at Jexo, let's say, have a customer, I don't know, let's say in Romania, and they need help, support with some services, some solution consultancy services that may or may not include our tools, you would be able to help them as well.
That's correct.
The one thing that I wanted to ask, right, and I'm quite curious, and we've not talked this before, but I am curious. So we basically, the way we interacted and how we started our partnership was not related to solution partner services or marketing initiatives or anything like that. Was the fact that we had a specific need for support engineering resources, hands on deck, to support our tools. And as you mentioned earlier, that's one of the services that you provide to everyone, including ecosystem partners. And so that's how we initially met. That's how we have our initial discussions, and you've been doing a brilliant job at that. I'm super impressed, to be honest. I'll mention this in a second. But afterwards, just to give a bit of a context, I reached out to you to potentially discuss our partnership on this other side of solutions and also marketing. And I'm curious, what, apart from, let's say, well, we were already working together and knew each other, what made you basically pick up the phone and say yes, and let's discuss and let's agree on a partnership with Jexo?
Well, your products are quite unique. We truly believe that Jexo apps have the ability to generate and create value. So value creation is really in the deep core and tied with our strategy. We don't believe in, as I mentioned before, long-term relationship and be a customer obsessed if you don't generate value for them. And I think you guys, you're nailed. I mean, the interface is super friendly. It's a very straightforward app, a set of apps in a simple way. And mostly what I'm seeing is that the adoption curve is not actually a curve. They're kind of flat. So this is super important for our customers, because at the end of the day, they are dictating what to be doing, what to be focusing, both eCore and Jexo. And they are happy because the adoption is frictionless, I would say. It's effortless. Yeah. So also the results are lasting. They're not just a spark of a set of different colors in a dashboard or some manager that's now is happy because is having the broader view of project management. But they're lasting throughout the entire levels of the company. So again, there's not a single answer, just like the secret sauce question. But I think the value creation is something very important. The adoption curve, which is not a curve, is also something very important as well.
And maybe also contributed the fact that I bombarded your LinkedIn timeline
yes.
with my face.
I think it's helping. I mean, one of the basics rules of sales and marketing is you don't buy from those that you doesn't know. So I think it's good. I appreciate. I really enjoy the videos and the interviews that you're putting together. You and Nick are doing some very interesting work, updating the community, the LinkedIn with all the news about the Atlassian ecosystem. So I think you're generating value in terms of sharing information. So it's good. Keep that way. I'm enjoying.
Yeah, we'll keep to it. It's not a huge effort for us to do so. We're also super passionate about it. We like, at least me. Maybe Nikki not so much, but I love to be in front of the camera. I think for us, talking about our partnership, I think for us was a bit of a no-brainer. one, Brazil is our second largest market after US. If I to think about it, I think Swanley has in Swanley, in terms of installations, Brazil installations are on second place, and then Foxley third place, and then Octo I think second place as well. So across the board, Brazil is a big consumer of what we do, of our practices, of our applications and such. So that was one of the reasons. But also, having spent time working with your team for the support engineering and seeing how professional, effective, and on point your entire process of supporting customers like myself on production support, talking to customers, and even your proprietary blend for the onboarding, right? That was I was super impressed with all of that, because right then and there on spot, it kind of told me that you guys know what you're doing. I kind of had that aha moment, realizing why you grew to the size that you are and to being as successful as you are. Just seeing that process of onboarding and how effective everything was. So that was one, but also two, actually, that was reason two. And then three, also culture wise, I think a large portion, I think half of our team, more than half of our team is based in Brazil. And I personally, as well as Nikki, resonate with the type of attitude, drive, passion, and also drinking habits, but anything else relate to our team. And that's why, like, from the moment that we decided to go and do our own thing full time in Jexo, we were thinking, how can we get some of our Brazil team, or at least people that they know in their network, to work with us, because they're exactly how we see our team in terms of culture and such. And I think I see a lot of that in eCore, mainly because we share certain discussions with people, given that we work on the support stuff, and I see the same attitude, the same character. I don't know, it's very hard to explain, but it's a very can-do, motivated, challenging culture that you guys seem to encompass, that we share as well. So these are, for me, these are the reasons why I decided to reach out and start discussions about partnership, which is, not just, providing services for our customers and such, which is part of it, but also marketing and doing things together as partners.
Yes, I think the cultural aspect is something that is we are receiving good feedback throughout the years about cultural fit, by the way. And I was thinking the other day how we get there. I mean, we are a great place to work company in Brazil for I think 13 years in a row. We're very well ranked, by the way. Our Glassdoor stats are 4.94 out of 5. So, and this is employee feedback. So I think this is because we understood that we are in a service business, that the service is made and delivered primarily by people. Also, the founders, they set a very interesting bar in terms of what set of behaviors and set of values we want to foster and incentive, and what values that we do not want to get at the company. Again, high bar for hiring people. I think we mentioned the other day that we don't allow the brilliant jerk or the brilliant. Yes. We don't allow that. Not just be brilliant and super intelligent. So we're always looking for the cultural consistency, because this is one of the major aspects that get us the abilities to grow to that size. And I think this is what to be fostering us to go to the next level as a whole company. So culture is always a central topic of our conversations here at eCore, and we put a lot of efforts to to keep growing the culture and transforming the culture, because the company will be changing, will be growing, the culture will be adapting, but keeping the very core and essential elements of the culture is something very important for us.
Yeah, and again, here's an example of culture share, or culture synchronicity, if you want to call it like that. We're exactly the same. We don't hire whatever genius jerks or however you call them as a staple of that. I mentioned that we have share. We had a discussion, and I was telling you that everyone in the team has share options. The way we distribute share options is seniority has a lesser impact on the allocation of the shares, and a bigger impact has longevity. So the longer you've been with the team and the more contributing you've been to the growth of the culture and the team, the more you get rewarded in that sense. Because I don't want to be one of those companies that hire a brilliant person, that person is a jerk, and also reward them with the highest share options because we value crazy skill set over culture fit and such. And I've worked in the past in environments where I could see how toxic dropping one of these characters in a team can be for the rest of the team. So no, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, it's the power to create value and destroy value that one single individual have. So in your case, this is exponential because you are growing a team. I think you're less than 20 or 25 employees. So one single bad hire have very, very destructive power. And the other way is also true. The brilliant genius of the very positive attitude, very positive set of values will be towing all the other team members to a high level. So this is something super important.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the reason why we still keep seniority as a factor in our shares. It's just that we don't want to convey to our team that we hire, and the one important thing of value that we cherish is skill set and maturity. Yes, that's important too, but more important is how well of a fit you are, and the type of individual, and your desires and your curiosity and what drives you. Because skill is easier to learn. Having certain traits, character traits, is a lot harder to change. I know we're gonna have a follow-up discussion on these topics because it seems that we share the same mind on this. But is there any news or interesting information that you want to share about eCore?
Yes, actually, yes. We are cooking some interesting news for the Jexo customers and community. So eCore is starting to create business case blueprints for the apps. So I believe that this can make the customer's life even easier, even frictionless. It will help them to stay longer using not just Jexo's app, but the Atlassian apps, because it's a mutual beneficial system that the marketplace plus Atlassian is working together. So we'll be working on these blueprints in the next weeks, and I think by 4 to 5 weeks we'll have some very interesting set of blueprints ready to be published.
No, that's brilliant, especially the amount of expertise and experience that you guys at eCore have with customers. That's very valuable. And we are planning to put together, and I think this is probably also kind of like a public announcement now, because it hasn't been public until now. We're planning to put together a blueprints, let's call it work management blueprints hub, where we're going to have a massive initial boost from eCore with a bunch of really good how-to blueprints to help you deliver and get to outcomes in various scenarios. And yes, they will also be based on our products per se, but also more generic to the Atlassian ecosystem and more generic practices in general that you might not be used to or currently adopting in your organization that you could potentially in the future to solve your current needs and problems. So yeah, so that's coming. Stay tuned. We'll have a pretty impressive hub soon. No pressure. No pressure, Bernardo.
No, it will be a fun. It's a fun project for us. Very aligned with our strategy, to be honest, but also very joyful, very fun, very interesting to be working with the Jexo apps and help to build this blueprint set.
That's brilliant. Well, Bernardo, it was a pleasure to have you on this, call it pilot of Jexo with Friends. I'm sure that we're probably going to have you in a future episode as well, as our relationship evolves and we have more things to work and talk about. You know that I love to talk, so for me it's easy to always talk. But yeah, this is great to have you on and chat to you. Yeah, I'll put for everyone here. I'll put links to our profile of eCore on our website, and also the eCore website, so you can go and read more about things. And if you have any specific questions, you can reach out to Bernardo through LinkedIn, I suppose. Yeah, if you want to connect and ask any questions about services or anything, or even culture, because I think what eCore has been achieving in the last few years is very impressive. So Bernardo will be more than happy to share a tip or two with you.
Absolutely. I reply all the messages that comes through LinkedIn. Be free to drop my line. Perhaps we can talk more about culture, business scaling, Atlassian ecosystem, service, IT service. So yeah, I'm very open, and thanks, Vero, for the invitation. I mean, was a very interesting moment. I have a lot of fun today, and good to be here, and I'm looking forward for the next round.
Looking forward. Have a great week.
Okay, too.